Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Higurashi. Long time no see. Uh, Last time, Hiranuma, she's a killer, and then she got killed. Which is interesting. So it kind of opens up the idea that maybe Nagisa got killed, and it also brings a question: why are they killing the Hinamiza syndrome people? Because this is before the disaster where they need to cover up shit. But I guess they're just taking like extra precautions since it's like out of their control, out of Hinamizawa. But yeah, it's a little weird. I don't know. Do you think Nagisa got killed? It's possible now. I was really sure that Rena just hard rejected her, and being a dramatic teen, she killed herself. But you really can't say it's not like unlikely because of we've already seen direct intervention from Tokyo for Nagisa's boyfriend. But anyways, let's see what's happening. Yep, I'm still stuffed up because it's still spring, and even though it's been a little bit since I've uploaded a video, I'm still obviously recording videos. And fuck allergies. All my homies hate allergies. Tomoe hates allergies, surely. On that prompting, Tomoe took a seat on the sofa. The familiar soft touch and unique smell of leather made it comfortable to sit on. That was largely because she didn't want to spend. She didn't want to spend. Excuse me. Translators, 07th translation. I have found a translation error, and I will now send you an essay on my disappointment on downloading your free patch. That was largely because she didn't want to spend much time in the chief's office. She always spoke with Yamokai and received her orders while standing. Why is my mic so sensitive right now? Oops. And my pop filter fell. Oh! Wait, I need to fix this. Okay. Let's go. Yamokai turned his back to Tomoe and stared out the window while smoking a cigarette. Something felt slightly out of place. All this time, Tomoe never knew him to smoke. Yamokai grabbed a piece of paper from his desk and sat it down in front of Tomoe. It was a single-page letter. The name Tomoe Minai was written on it, and it's either from the father or from Nagisa. Tomoe suddenly stood up with the letter in her hand. Her eyes were open as wide as she reviewed the contents over and over again. I actually think it's more likely to be Nagisa, even when my first instinct was the father. It makes more sense for Nagisa right now. She couldn't immediately comprehend the inorganic arrangement of letters on the page, or rather, she didn't want to. Rage and bewilderment ran rampant inside her head, and a sense of vertigo caused her vision to momentarily cloud over. If it would be deemed acceptable, she wanted to tear the letter to pieces right here. It took a great deal of effort to resist the intense impulse. Oh. Nothing that dramatic. So they're shifting her position. Chief of Media Correspondence. I don't know what that is, but it sounds lame. It sounds like she'll probably be, taking press calls or scheduling press stuff, which is definitely not not Tomoe's style. Man, Yamamoto knew she wouldn't like it. That's why he's smoking. Thanks to the recent developments in mass media, information on criminal cases is now immediately available to the public. And as a result, there's a potential risk of damaging the reputation of the victims, perpetrators, and any other related parties. But if the media isn't provided any official information, then every organization could arbitrarily release their own articles based on speculation and incomplete information, which may lead to misunderstandings and false information. As such, there's an urgent need for the National Police Agency to set up a specialized organization to regulate the information disseminated to the media. However,
待ってください。自分はこの書き写書に来てまだ2ヶ月です。このような急すぎる人事異動は非常識ではありませんか？
研修出向の期間に最長期限はあっても最短はない。出向先の責任長が研修目標を達成したと判断すれば、その時点で終了だ。
In fact, even though she was only there for 2 months, Tomoe had achieved far more than Yamorka and the others expected. In conventional investigation, the detective's primary activity is utilizing their intuition and experience. I wonder if this is like an actual upgrade. Because the way they're like framing it is like initially when she was mad, like maybe they were like, I thought, conspiracy shit, they're trying to push her aside because she's so disruptive with, she's good but disruptive. But maybe this is like a legit promotion, but she's mad because this obviously takes her off field for work, which, isn't her style. As a result, differences in investigators' abilities can lead to multiple oversights and duplication of information. Upper management and on-site investigators were interested in improving that inefficiency. Under those circumstances, it was no exaggeration at all to say that profiling analysis techniques that Tomoe pioneered gave investigators relevant guidelines and valuable clues to solve those problems. That development was highly praised within the National Police Agency, and further research and testing will be conducted from now on, leading to potential full-scale adoption down the road.
この短期間でこれだけの成果を上げるとは私も予想していなかった。君はこの功績を十分に誇ってもいいのだよ。
お世辞はやめてください。そもそも報道対応といったものは刑事の自分ではなく警察官僚の方々が職務に当たるのが通例ではありませんか？自分とは畑違いです。
デスクワーク専門の練習では捜査線上で開示してもいい情報の取捨選択が判断できないということだろう。まして酷かもしれんが、君はかつて被害者側に立ったことがあり、風評による
That's true.
予防するには何が必要か。
I guess having some experience on the field would help if you're gonna be the press person.
君はその2つの条件を満たしている最適な人材だというのが上層部の判断だ。
それはですが私は
君の意思はこの際考慮には含まれない。
Damn.
重ねて言うがこれは命令だ。君も公僕の人間ならば上からの命令には従いたまえ。
This is obviously different different than the other fragments. Is she still a detective? Unless it is the same and she always goes through this, but we already know that's not possible because this whole investigating Nagisa thing, I feel like it's a one-off for this fragment. Tomoe was still upset that she didn't have a chance to argue her side of the story, but she understood the fact and kept quiet. All civil servants, regardless of organization, had no right to defy a direct order for personal reasons.
だけど
There were still a large number of unresolved cases under investigation. Passing that on to other detectives at the station would cause unnecessary hardship for them. Not to mention, she still hasn't grasped the truth behind Nagisa Ozaki's case. Even if she wholeheartedly wanted to pursue the culprit, she'd never be able to solve anything if she wasn't working as a detective actively investigating the case. The girl who said Tomoe was kind-hearted and thanked her for all her help. When they last met, the girl was trying her hardest to believe she could reconcile with her old friend. But it was impossible for her to set things right since her untimely death took her before she could accomplish anything. Okay, so she thinks this happened before they met? Plus, Tomoe had already identified a clearly fishy suspect that she was hoping to investigate. And yet,
お願いします。お願いします、所長。
so, even though it was nearly impossible to overturn a decision like this, if there's any hope of doing so, Tomoe was willing to bet on it.
もう少しだけ。あと3ヶ月。いえ、1ヶ月でも結構です。私に時間をいただけませんか？このままじゃ終われない。終わりたくない。まだ私にはやりたいこと、やらなきゃいけないことがあるんです。
例の大巻の事件のことは藤田君から聞いている。だから君の気持ちは分かっているつもりだ。
だったらせめて。
ではその1ヶ月で何かがつかめるのかね。
I don't know, maybe.
その根拠は、その自信は、うぬぼれたことを言うな、南井君。君一人であがいて立ち回ったとしても、結局何も得られないどころか、無理を重ねることで君自身が壊れることもあり得る。君はそれで一生懸命やったと自己満足できるかもしれんがね、結果が出なければやらないのと同じだ。自分に言い訳をするだけの行為だよ、それは。
そんなのやってみなければわからない。
Tomoe slammed the table in front of her while leaning closer to Yamamokai. Why? Why is he exerting so much pressure to defy me this time? What does he know about me? Probably knows a lot about you, honestly.
あなたに何がわかる？何がわかるのよ。希望も未来もあった子が、幸せになる資格があった子が、思いを遂げられないまま死んだ。殺された。なのに刑事のくせに私には何もできなかった。そしてこれからはもっとできなくなる。だから私は
それを自己満足だというのだよ、巴君。
Damn. The Mokai quietly stared at the rage in Tomoe's eyes. Her tremendous sorrow and frustration were insufficient to sway his heart.
犯罪者を捕まえても失われたものは何も戻ってこない。そして被害者やその家族もまた10日のものでなければその喪失感を埋めることはできない。
I mean, it's still good to catch the culprit, though. I get what he's saying, but
10日とはすなわち被害者の命だ。
yeah, obviously. But also, I think there's justice in doing it, even if it can't change or maybe even fix things. So unless you're God, it's impossible to fully heal the wounds of the people left behind.
ならば君の今やろうとしていることは誰にとっても何の価値も生み出さない無意味なものだ。
That's just like not true. Again, obviously, like maybe in a physical sense, but I mean, I'm sure the parents would be happy if it was a murder, or at least knowing what happened. Obviously, Tomoe would be happy catching the person. It's just like, I get what he's saying. This, like, people say this. I feel like this example has been brought on often in, like, police stories. But it's just, like, not true. It's, like, true, but, like, not true. Because value is different for other people, right? Like, some people might obviously say that, oh, you caught him, so what? My daughter's already dead. While others would take more value in it. Just person by person.
違うかね。
しかし、
Yo, that's what I'm saying.
ならば、警察
Bring
が
the
何か
hammer
犯人を
of
逮捕する
justice
にも
on
理由
him.
もあるはずです。それを教えてくれたのは山沖さん、あなたでしょ？
If they let Tomoe investigate, maybe she could have prevented Hinamizawa from being destroyed because she single-handedly takes down Tokyo. Come on.
確かに以前私はそう言った。
And he said that himself. Right, I knew they probably brought it up in this story. Was it him himself?
しかし、それは君の正義で警察全体の正義ではない。そして警察の正義は君のそれとは相反する判断を下した。受け止めたまえ。
Then what? Then the justice I believe in is different from that of other people? Is that what you want to say? The blood rushed to Tomoe's head. She suddenly leaned forward toward Yamokai, with every last bit of her strength focused on clenching her fists. However, Yamokai quietly gazed at her while calmly enduring her violent outburst.
頭を冷やすんだ、友江君。君のその考え方はいかにも感情的で短絡的だ。英雄願望は結構だが、自分の思いを通すことが正義だというのなら、正義は人の数だけ存在することになる。
Sure, but I don't see why it's wrong for her to impose her sense of justice if everyone has a different sense of justice. I guess you could say the police organization does have its own sense, and you have to conform to that as an officer, I guess.
君は我々警察がなすべきことをもっとよく考えるべきだ。
She couldn't say anything in protest. There was no meaning to revenge. Shimoka had remonstrated? What the fuck does that mean? Sorry, I need to Google this. Remonstrate. Make a forcefully reproachful protest.
Remonstrate.
Remonstrate. He turned angrily to remonstrate with Tommy. Okay. Remonstrate. And the media correspondence at Public Relation Office was more important than her involvement on this one particular case. That must have been what they determined. But then, how would she fill the empty void in her heart? How could she suppress the urge to be swallowed by the darkness of hatred and despair? And on top of that,
どうして？
there was one more thing that Tomoe still couldn't understand.
どうしてこの要請を断ってくださらなかったんですか？あなたなら、私を推薦組に選んでくださったあなたなら、広報室からの打診があっても断れたはずじゃないですか。なのになんで？
Mokai kept silent and didn't change his expression in response to Tomoe's fierce question. No matter how frustrated she was with him, she still had to ask.
あなたは去年、警備局の公安課長の椅子を蹴って、この書き打ちに来られたと聞きました。そして、10年以上も経って、父が最後にメモに書き残したこの地に来たということは、何かを掴んだ。そう私は考えていました。
友江君。
だから、 内に呼んでくれたこと嬉しかった。きっとあなたが父の残した謎を解き明かすチャンスをくれたんだって。まどかのこと、推薦組のことは引っかかっていたけど、それよりもこの機会を作ってくれたことは本気で感謝していました。なのに、なんで私をこの駆け内から遠ざけようとするんです？一体私は何のためにここに来たんですか？
Damn, let it all out. That's right, this was Kikuchi. Tomoe was assigned a post in Kikuchi, the last place her father ever visited. She was appointed to the honorary position of assistant director without the need to worry about the scorn of other officers. She felt that even if she protested, it wouldn't get overturned. She didn't care about any of the faction disputes. Because she had her own purpose, she was able to work toward that without anger or disappointment, and without needing to put on a bold front. And yet, that purpose was being taken away from her? No matter how well her investigation results were being evaluated, this was taking away the vision of hope Tomoe gleamed when she first came to Kikuchi. Before long, Immortai took a deep breath and drooped his shoulders before breaking the silence to address Tomoe and attempt to calm her down.
なぜですか？
広報室長の前のはキャリア組のホープで、将来の幹部候補だ。おそらく警察庁長官官房の実力者として、今後
He's sending her. He's putting her on a rocket ship and sending her to the top. I mean, it's a good thing for sure. I'm sure someone like Tomoe would, or on a higher position, could like change the police station for the better, for sure.
そんな男に名前と実力を覚えられるのは、君のキャリア向上のためになるはずだ。
私のため？何がよ？
I mean, it literally is.
何が私のためなのよ？そんなこと誰も頼んでない。
I do agree. You probably should have like talked to her about it instead of surprising her with this when you know she wouldn't like it.
父さんの敵を取る以上のことが他にあるっていうのか。
Maybe she won't die on the field like she does in the last two fragments. If she gets promoted. Tomoe tossed the letter down and spat those words out with intensity on the verge of vomiting blood. Oh shit. She was shouting emotionally and no longer trying to maintain appearances. Even though she believed in him. No matter how much she fought with her sister, she still believed this man was an ally who truly understood her. But in the end, was that just a false assumption? Was he simply keeping up appearances and not making any actual effort to understand how she felt? Was he just letting her play around under the scope of his own power in order to conceal his guilt at being unable to capture her father's murderer? Was that what this was?
出世すれば私が喜ぶと。何が正義だ？笑わせるな。あんたは偽善者だ。
Look at that smile.
父さんの事件のことで行き詰まったから、そんなおためごかしでごまかそうとしている。別に私は偉くなりたくて警察に入ったわけじゃない。推薦組に選ばれたわけじゃない。それこそあんたの自己満足じゃないか。
Ooh. What the fuck? Rare Immortai expression never seen before comes with a giant talking animation. It's his scolding face. That was the very first time Yamotai raised his voice in anger. Without thinking, Tomoe recoiled back into the sofa behind her. She was scared. And more than that, she was sad. She was able to continue venting her anger on Yamotai to this extent because she was subconsciously reacting like a spoiled child. But after he said that, she just felt sad. Aww. And she felt helpless, lost to despair. No matter how passionate you feel or how hard you work, when confronted by a massive organization, is there really no value to personal thoughts and convictions? That moment, tears began spilling out. She already knew. As a member of society, it was unfit for someone of her age to cry. Not true. But she just couldn't stop, and then Tomoe realized. No matter how much time had actually passed, time had stood still for her ever since that day. Even when she acted grandiose, and behaved aggressively, even when she engaged in intellectual debates, Tomoe Minai hadn't changed at all since she was 17 years old. How shameful. She was no different from a spoiled brat throwing a tantrum, was she?
怒鳴ってすまなかったな。
いえ、自分は泣いてなどいません。
Tomoe stared straight at Yamotai with her eyes still moist. Yamotai picked up the letter that had fallen to the floor, dusted it off, and offered it to Tomoe with a bitter smile while thinking back on her indomitable spirit.
南井智恵警部、来月より警察庁広報室への移動を命じる。副省。
南井智恵、警察庁広報室への移動辞令、謹んで拝命いたします。
うん。ならば下がっていい。
失礼します。
And then Tomoe grabbed the letter containing her orders and left the chief's office without looking back. Yamotai returned to his desk, then picked up the file sitting there and opened it. It was a formal letter of complaint against What the heck? Against Assistant Director Tomoe Minai, submitted under the names of Deputy Chief Hata and 2nd Division Chief Okabe. Isn't Hata her boss? Damn. So I guess he was protecting her because they were trying to get her fired or something. Damn. Plot twisted. He nearly spat the words out, recognizing the vulgarity and hostility between the lines. The contents were subjective and emotional, so any examiner receiving it would be embarrassed just reading it. In all likelihood, those men were using it as a means to get rid of Tomoe, since she was otherwise outside their reach. Even though the examiner at the Prefectural Police HQ was from the same public security background as Yamotai, there was no guarantee they'd have the superficial level of wisdom necessary to recognize that. This complaint was secretly transferred to Yamotai by a former colleague and friend. Based? Yamaguchi!
時期の打分として無視するのもありだが、放っておくと最悪。ジョーちゃんたちが傷物になるかもしれん。一応、手は打っておけ。
When it came to the examiner, it's possible to downplay this or hide it, and it would just become a minor power struggle between them. But this time there's also a possibility this issue could run without limits. And it could cast suspicion against Yamotai's relationship with Madoka, and his selection of Tomoe for the most recommended group, in which case it could end up hurting the sisters the most. With that in mind, Yamotai decided it would be best to transfer Tomoe to another department until things cooled down. So the letter from the public relations director Mayano was actually a godsend. Okay, so it was more of a a good coincidence that lined up. Just as Tomoe was starting being attacked, you know, when last arc, when the what's his name again? It was the second division guy. Yeah, Okabe was like in an interview. Oh, I hated her, but it was fun to butt heads. I don't know, this seems really petty. This isn't really butting heads. This is more like backstabbing. But Yamokai couldn't tell Tomoe that. As obstinate as she was, if he told her about this, she wouldn't hesitate to fight the accusation. And even if she proved the accusation false, it would deepen the suspicion that she wasn't assigned to this post on her own merits. No, that wasn't the only option, or problem. If that was all there is, it was at a level she could manage on her own. But more importantly, if the examiner were to focus on Yamokai,
あとこれは内々の話だが、どうやら警視庁公安の一部の連中があのお嬢ちゃんをマークしている。しかも今回の告発のことを嗅ぎつけて、彼女をおとりか何かで利用しようと考えているようだ。
what the fuck? How?
公安が一体何の目的で？
わからん。ただ彼女が探り回っていた事件と何か
Oh shit.
関係があるような気がする。
It does run deep.
あるいはお前が追っていた例のやつがな。警察庁の警備局、それに人事課のメンツとも連携して何やら妙な動きだ。
The Public Safety Division wouldn't leak intelligence information to another organization, even a fellow police organization. Doing so would invite insider threats. And it wasn't typical for the security police to rely on information possessed by the personal division either. But they almost always target police officers suspected of leaking information related to national scandals. Nevertheless, why would they be targeting someone like Tomoe, who is only investigating domestic cases that had no ties to foreign affairs? Something did ring a bell. Even if it wasn't related to her, there was a case she was continuing to investigate even now, and so those guys were... There's still a huge cloud of darkness around the case Tomoe's father was investigating. He was investigating Tokyo? Dun dun dun. I wonder if we're actually gonna learn about that. Because this is like the last Tomoe arc, right? They might reveal it. Would be kinda cool. Enough so that Yamokai still hesitated to tell her the full truth. In other words, the folks at the public security were laying bait in the water Tomoe was swimming in, hoping to get rid of her. A horrible thought came to mind. What if the people at the public security wanted to set up a workplace accident? In other words, they wanted to somehow cause harm to Tomoe. What if she was attacked or even killed? Was that what they were hoping for? If they took advantage of the opportunity... Oh my god, man. Fucking allergies. My nose is stuffed and I'm wheezing. Shit sucks. I swear it happens worse at night too, when I have time to record. It's so dog shit, man. Yamokai simply couldn't afford to overlook the possibility. Members of the security police couldn't even reveal their mission details to their colleagues, and it was their duty to do even inhumane things in the interest of national security.
あのお嬢ちゃんは一度現場から遠ざけておいた方がいいな。下手をすれば消されるぞ。
Isn't that like crazy? So back then, like, is this real? Did they really have like a secret police sort of thing going in Japan?
あ あの子たちの幸せをお前は未来の墓前に誓ったんだろ
う。なあ、ユウスケ。俺はお前の仇を討てそうにない。だったらせめて、あの子だけでもと思うのは間違っているか？
Yamokai sighed alone while gazing up at the birds through the blinds. He too felt the same as her. He hated being powerless, a powerless individual facing down a massive organization. No, he may have felt it even more strongly than she did. I think we are gonna end it here, guys. Sorry for the short episode, but allergies are in like overtime, so it is what it is. Surely next recording will be better. But yeah, anyways, it seems like Yamokai was, in fact, protecting Manai, which is cool. He's a cool guy now. I was also angry at him too. I didn't even think he could be protecting her. I probably should have thought of that possibility. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Peace. It's good to be back, kind of. I mean, not right now while I'm recording, but by the time this uploads, then it will probably be good to be back. But yeah, sorry for the wait. We're back with some more Higurashi. Yeah.